You're listening to the Smash Bros. Cast episode 44, and this is going to be a live call-in show. Crawler, what's going on, man?
Hey, how's it going?
It's going good. We got Leo joining us as well. What's up, buddy?
Hey, what's going on?
What is up? Oh my goodness, I'm looking at my overlay right now, and everything is all messed up, so I gotta fix that real quick. But hey, before we get started with this, if you guys want to get yourself a free book from Audible, go to audibletrial.com/SBC. Pick up something awesome like Ready Player One, Console Wars, so many great books. It's audibletrial.com/SBC. The chair I'm sitting in is from OP Seat. If you go to n64josh.com/OP Seat, you automatically save $10 at checkout. So before we get into the questions, quick announcement. The tournament is this Saturday. If you go to n64josh.com/smash tournament, you're going to find all the info. The tournament begins at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 1 p.m. Eastern. Okay, you can check in a half hour early. It's up to you to be in the Discord and communicate with your opponent so that you guys can get your matches in, and then you can, fill out who won, who lost, that kind of stuff, right? That's all going to be on you guys. If there is disputes, you can screenshot your results, and we can also check tags, okay? So it's going to just be best for everybody if you're just honest, all right? We are teaming up with Beyond the Meta podcast. Those guys are going to be joining us for the live stream of Top 8 that will take place at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Okay, so the beginning of the tournament starts at 10 a.m., and this Top 8 will begin at 7 p.m., 10 p.m. Eastern. And the hosts of Beyond the Meta will be joining us, and the four of us will be commentating and then recording a podcast following the tournament. So it should be a good time. I'm really looking forward to it.
You get three of us this week. 3 times the fun.
Yeah, there's going to be 3 SBCs this week, so I hope you guys are ready.
It's never enough. It is never enough.
And make sure you guys keep up the messages to Hate Zero, because I know he's been loving it a lot.
If you jump into Discord for the first time, make sure to at Hate Zero and say what's up from SBC. tell him NightCrawlr says hi. So, oh man, so funny. Okay, well, I'm moving on over to Discord right now, and we got, let's see here. Let's see. We're gonna start with our first caller, a Mulder 17. I'm gonna put him into the call now, and we'll take his question. So here we go. Mulder, what's going on?
Hey, nothing much. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, for sure. What is your question?
Well, actually, I got a few I just came up with while sitting in the waiting room there.
Right on.
But first one is, I'm main Roy.
Mm-hmm.
So in Smash 4, you could set your C stick to tilt attacks, and then if you did a 45, it'd give you a neutral. The Smash Ultimate doesn't seem to be able to do that anymore. Is there any way to do that I'm not sure of? Or
so here's the thing, like, I believe it was Izaw Smash.
You and me were talking about this the other night.
Yeah. So Izaw Smash put out a video and says you cannot, right? And then I've started using, I've been jumping with my right trigger and using the C stick a lot more often. And all that I have been able to find is that neutral is not consistent. It's there, but not consistent.
When you and I were playing, well, was that on Saturday night? I think we were playing. We were trying it out, and I think we kind of came up with the conclusion that the sweet spot for that 45 is just so minimal now. It's just a wider slice of the pie for up air and fair and down air and all that kind of stuff, so that it's just, like Josh said, super inconsistent.
So it's just so precise you can't even hardly get it.
Yeah, I think it's there, but it's because I think Josh said he's hit it accidentally. I've tried and haven't. I don't think I've had success. Leo, have you had any success trying to do that?
No, definitely not. I think it's really, really, really precise.
So
I mean, that could be something that could get patched in the future, but I mean, for right now, I mean, the shortcut, if you're doing it without moving and then move forward and then do the drift, that's probably the best way to do a neutral air, drifting forward or backwards.
All right, yeah, because you would go. Well, the main goal of it was you'd do a short hop, and then you would start the neutral air using the C stick, because it's the only way you could start the neutral air while doing a fast fall. The second you started it, would get an attack cancel where you could immediately side or up smash into them. So I'm not sure how that would work if you could get the fast fall immediately as you start it.
So chat is asking about the 45, and I believe what we're talking about. So like you have your up smash, which is up, down smash is down, back air and forward air obviously are back and forward on your C stick. Well, if you were to hit like let's say 10 o'clock, 2 o'clock, like 5 o'clock and 7 o'clock on Smash 4, if you were looking at your controller as if it was a clock face, those would come out as neutral attacks. I believe it's been a while, right? But I believe
and even the C stick has notches at the 45s too, but it's
correct. So that's the 45 we're talking about. If you're wondering, so here's what I have found, which has been very strange, is I have had neutral come out far more than I expected it would, especially after watching that video where they say you can't do it. And I see it happen to me all the time, and it actually throws me off because I'm trying to throw like a back air and I'll throw neutral, or I'm trying to throw my up air and a neutral will come out, and I'm like, what is up with this? So honestly, it's something that I want to spend more time testing, because when Crawler and I jumped into the lab and we weren't in the lab, but we were just both testing to see if we could pull off neutrals. When I tried to do it, I couldn't do it. When I wasn't trying to do it, they would happen. And I'm like, what is up with this? Like, so I have yet to find exactly what the button combination is. So it is something you could still mess with. The problem I see is that even if you find it, it may be one of those things that it's like the accuracy needed to pull it off effectively in play.
Can't rely on it.
Won't be reliable. Yeah.
I mean, and I've just recently picked up Roy as of a couple days ago, and I have no problems throwing my neutral pretty easily with the A button with Corrin, but I find that it's a little bit harder for me to get that neutral with Roy. I find I'm throwing fair a lot more often. So it could just a lot of times be character specific too, a little bit. I don't know.
I haven't had much problem just doing short hops to a neutral A, was to get it with a C stick so you could get that extra speed and pulling off that combo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another question was the game just came out a little bit ago, and a lot of Roy specifically has changed quite a bit. His sword dances as side B doesn't move him really as much. He stays pretty stationary because he used to go quite a ways around the board in Smash 4, but a lot of his combos don't work anymore. Few ones do. I was wondering if you guys know any way to like kind of just play around so you can find, or maybe just wait for some pros to come out with some combo lists. Or
I mean, I was looking yesterday because, like I said, I've picked him up recently, and I've been trying to find some combos that are true and that kind of stuff. And I haven't seen, like, I know Zero put out a video on how to play Roy, but his video is kind of just very quick. I mean, he's very good at explaining stuff, but it's sometimes hard to understand what he is explaining. But from what I've seen so far, I mean, the best way to do it is if you just start playing around in the lab, I guess. But that can be time consuming and quite daunting sometimes. So I mean, we're 1 month in, like today, right? 1 month exactly. So I would say we'll probably start seeing some videos coming out, especially for some top tier, S tier, and A tier kind of characters here. I would think sometime soon, but also maybe some of those big YouTubers and pros are kind of waiting to get through Genesis to like reveal their secrets, possibly. I don't know. So you might have to wait another month.
All right. And then playing around, I'm trying to get to the level where I feel comfortable playing in like some locals. Maybe I'll play in the tournament Saturday. That sounds like fun. But my biggest issue is ledge guarding. Most of the time I'll go off, I can get back up. I can fall off consistently and not have to worry too much about SDing. But as soon as, I'm fighting somebody, I'm trying to get fancy, try to back air them when I'm getting back on the stage, or going for a smash or a meteor smash. I always seem to use my extra jump without realizing it. You got any tips for practicing ledge guarding just in general?
How are you practicing it right now? Are you doing it with in training, or do you have a training partner, or?
Just when I play with my friends randomly, I'll definitely try to be a little more risky on the edge, just try stuff out. But I have done some bot things, so that's a little difficult getting a bot off the stage.
Mm-hmm. So,
do you have the ability with, like, if I play with Mario, I've got the forward throw and the back throw, right? So that I can throw them off the stage, and then I can, typically they're going to, the bots are typically going to recover the same way. If you set the level up higher, it may change, but I can't confirm that. I usually put them between 3 and 6, and it's pretty similar. Now you can turn that shuffle on, which, they will dodge a little bit more and that kind of stuff. But if you're just by yourself, and a lot of times, like if I find myself like, maybe I'm away from Wi-Fi or whatever, and I'm just going to be in the training mode, I'll just take that bot to the edge, maybe put it up to, try it at different percents to see what does what. And then, the other thing is even just what I've done, for instance, and I was able to pull it off with NightCrawlr. We have a pretty funny video on Instagram right now of him screaming no over and over again, because, basically I just dropped right before I grabbed ledge. I threw the cape, and it was enough just to spin him around. And that was something I've actually spent time in the lab doing, just hanging on the side of the ledge, dropping, throwing my cape, and then jumping back onto stage. Just trying to get that muscle memory down. So if there's, even if they're not actually hitting the bot, if there's things that you can do to get out on that, to get out on the ledge and practice the moves you're trying to, because if you've seen a high level Roy player, or some of the things that they're capable of, but you're just not quite inputting the stuff correctly or whatever, like don't even worry about having the bot there. And you can also, this is another really, really helpful tip that I'm not sure. There may be some people that don't realize you can do this in training mode. You can turn the game to half speed, so you can practice doing the moves slower, and then turn the game back up to full speed. And so once you get the muscle memory down, then you can speed things back up again. So there's a few things there that might help you. It's going to depend on your character as far as being able to throw characters off stage. And you gotta remember too, a lot of times the bots are going to be pretty predictable. And so you're going to lose that, or
you turn them up high enough, they're pixel perfect.
Right. So, so that, but the main thing is, like I was saying, like for me, just dropping off that stage and caping, that allowed me to start getting that muscle memory down to where it was like, this is now another tool in my, another weapon in my arsenal. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, for sure. I don't know. Roy's his down smash specifically can be pretty difficult to hit if you're trying to meteor. I guess one of my biggest problems is just lining up good when I'm off the stage, because when you go for Roy's down smash when he's in the air, he lifts it sort of above his head and then throws it down. So there's quite the wind up there, and it's a pretty precise location, while at the same time, if you're too low on your target, it'll just smash him up. So I don't know, it's just a lot of practicing being where I need to be above them, or off stage. So a lot of times I'll miss when I go to ledge guard.
So I would say you're also sitting in the middle of probably the biggest resource, and that's just put a message out and get another human involved, because we have the voice channels here in the Discord. Just hop into that, find somebody that's willing to lab stuff out with you, and just hop into a game, set the stocks high if you want to work on something specific, and just play around with it. You you be victim a little bit for them, they be victim for you, and you just work on that back and forth and you can have them. You can ask them to do certain things to work on timing and spacing on something, and then once you feel comfortable with a few different options, tell them to start mixing it up, and then you start trying to read it and just spend an afternoon or a couple evenings. Find a time that works with somebody that's consistent, and then you can build that relationship and start just working with another human that you're able to have them kind of be more consistent for what you're looking for than a bot or just doing it by yourself in the lab.
Yeah, that's definitely a big thing. I had this friend I used to play with other previous Smashes quite a bit. He was a lot better than me, but he's kind of dropped off. He hasn't played the Smash hardly, and I've passed him now. I'm kind of the better than most of the people I play with normally around where I am. So yeah.
And I would say you mentioned earlier about wanting to improve to a point to go to a local. Don't wait. Just go. It's, lots of people are friendly at least at my experiences. I've been to 2 now of my local scene, and I've lost in winners bracket both times. The first game, I've been able to get a little experience against somebody that is not as experienced as myself down in losers, because that's likely that you'll maybe run into that. But then also it just gives you the experience of the format of competitive Smash, and it also just builds that experience that you can take things away from. You can look at, there's tons of games going on. There were 113 people at my local this last week, so there's tons of games. There were like 20 something stations going, so you can just walk around, watch other people play Smash. Once it starts dying down a little bit, if people are still hanging out, you can set up friendlies, you can work on other kinds of stuff with other people that are just as good, better, or worse than you, and all that kind of stuff that we were talking about that you can do in Discord. It's even better when you can do it in a live match that doesn't have input lag from the internet and all that kind of stuff. So it's just an experience to have, and it's something you shouldn't just wait to do until you think you're ready to start winning. It's good to get that experience.
I'll springboard off of that too, Crawler. I absolutely agree. I think that's like perfect, an idea to just go and experience it all, because I guess you guys have talked about it too when I had told you a couple months ago now, when I went to my first local, and it was towards the end of Smash 4. So that experience kind of wasn't the same as getting to experience how many other new people are jumping into the scene. I actually got to go to another local, I think it was 2 Sundays ago now. And it was a completely different experience. There were a lot of friendly people there. There were varying skill levels, and definitely good Roys there too. My advice to you is to definitely play with a person. Also, if you don't feel like your skill level is at the point where you can watch a pro pull off the combos, like let's say on YouTube, you're just watching videos. If you don't feel like your skill level is there yet, practice, because that old saying very much rings true, which is practice makes perfect. But definitely don't be afraid to go to a local. It's a fantastic experience.
The other thing too, if you're really wanting to work with other people that play Roy, I've only heard this. I haven't gone and searched for them yet, but it's my understanding that there's Discords for every character in Smash. So if you're a Roy main, you could probably Google Smash Ultimate Roy or Smash Bros Roy Discord.
So the website that has all the links is Smashcords. I'm involved in the Corrin one, but I'm looking probably to get involved in a few more. I know that I just got a message, I think today or yesterday, that the Fire Emblem Discord servers are putting on a Fire Emblem tournament. So I'm not super involved with like digging through that Discord, but I am involved with it. So yeah, Smashcords for anybody that's listening that has their main or any pockets or anything that your secondaries that you're looking to play. If you want to be in a Discord that has people that are playing your character as well. I'm pretty positive. It's Smash Chords. Just Google Smash Chords, and it should take you to links that are currently active. Because I had to search around a little bit for the active invite for the Corrin Discord. Because they've been around now since Smash 4 for the most part, at least. So some of those Discords are pretty old. They've been around for a while, but they have those permanent invites that you can find those links there at that website.
And hopefully, fingers crossed, you're going to find friendly people. I do want to go back your question about like combos, right? And kind of wondering about that. Like, you know what I've been doing? I've just been testing stuff myself, right? Like I mentioned it on the show, but like, you know, Mario changed quite a bit from what, you know, he used to be really easy to combo with, and he still is. It's just different combos than what I was used to. Right. So like what I've tried to do is just test at different percents. And this is where you got to get into the training room, and you've got to like stay consistent with like, okay, I'm going to try 0%. What two moves can I combine that are going to both hit? Right. Like, and hopefully be true. And when we say a true combo, this is kind of one of the questions we have in the Discord, is like, they want to know some of the lingo about combos and things like that. Like, if a combo is true, it means it's going to hit every time, right? Like if you are set up in the right position for that combo, they can't DI out of it or anything. It is true.
Yeah, if you do it right, they can't escape.
Yeah. DI for anybody wondering is directional input.
Correct.
That's them trying to push their way one way or the other with their control stick to get away from your attack. And if it's a true combo, then there's no escape if you're doing it correctly. If the timing is right and the inputs and the attacks that you're inputting are correct for a true combo, then they have no chance to escape. Yeah.
So and even so, I've started playing Mega Man, right? And so I'm like, okay. At first, I just want to look for even while like, you know, Crawler and I are playing, right? Or I'm playing on stream, I'm going to look for things and try to make mental notes. Like, okay, if I can fare 3 or 4 times. If, you know, I'm not saying that this is true, but I've landed a minimum of 2, sometimes 3, and then sometimes 4, depending on the way that my opponent's moving. So I'm like, okay, that kind of goes into my checklist of like, this may not necessarily be a true combo, but it is something that can combo, and I can get them all the way off the edge of the stage with it. Right? Just throwing fares across the stage with Mega Man. The other thing that was like, some of the stuff's like kind of like no-brainer stuff, where it's like, wait a minute, Mega Man has a move that literally hits straight above him. His up air, he throws that tornado. Well, if I just do an up throw to an up air, that's, you know, pretty good chance that's going to hit. Does it turn into something else? I don't know yet. I'm not at that point. But right now, my focus is like, what 2-hit combos can I do? You know, and then obviously, like when it came to Mario, it's like, well, up air, you know, up throw to up air, that kind of stuff. But then at low percentage, I even saw today. I was playing against. I believe his name was Smack, and what I noticed is he did a down throw into the jab combo, the 3-hit jab, and I was like, I didn't even think that was a thing. I don't know if something. I have to test it now, because I was like, I've yet to see this. I don't know why that worked. Maybe it had something to do with the way I DI'd. I'm not sure, but I was kind of surprised that, like, as soon as I hit, he initiated the jab. Like, I didn't even fly up and out of range. It was like I hit the ground, and immediately I was stuck. I was like, I was taking jabs, and I was like, well, that's interesting. That's going to be 4 hits right there. And then what is it going to, you know, if the boot comes out, it's probably going to reset neutral depending on percentage. And when I say reset neutral, again, we'll try to explain some of this stuff. It means that both fighters are back in a neutral state. Nobody is at advantage or disadvantage, right? And that's going to depend on percentage. If it's a high percent, there's going to be more knockback. And if it's a low percent, there's going to be less knockback. And it could continue to combo, right? You may be able to get another grab if it's really low percent. That's the stuff you have to practice. So, yeah, I hope that helps. And I mean, you know, how long have you played Roy? You played him for a few games now?
I've played him since Melee pretty much. He disappeared in Brawl, obviously. I played Ike then, but I didn't play Smash 4 Tungsten. I never owned a Wii U. I played it on DS quite a bit, but yeah, I played him pretty much all Smash.
I got you. But yeah, I mean, while the game's still young, it's tough not having all those videos that we can, you know, beefy Smash dudes and all, you know, all the great YouTube videos that are going to be there. Even the Prima guide right now, nothing has changed that drastically that you can look through that thing. There's going to be some good basics in there. And it's the last Prima guide, so if you want a little piece of history, pick that up.
Yeah. When I was I played the game casually pretty much since 64, but coming up to Smash 4 towards the end, I looked up videos and I was overwhelmed with the amount of combos that some people had figured out for Roy, whether they were true combos or not. But yeah, no, I just feel kind of lost now that there's not a lot. I've definitely learned a lot of stuff that works and doesn't work just by, you know, playing him a ton since the game's come out. But I did find out one thing. I don't know how widely known this is, but if you hit jump and so if you're on a GameCube controller, if you hit X or Y and A at the same time, it does an automatic short hop into either a neutral, side, up, whatever you're doing. And I was wondering if that is detrimental in any way versus to doing it manually, doing just a short hop then A.
No. If you're struggling with short hop, I can't recommend doing that enough. Right, because for me, this game's it's harder to short hop in this game than it was in 4.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I was just wondering because, unlike in previous Smashes, when I do some of Roy's neutral short hop attacks or, you know, fairs or dares or whatever, I will miss the character because I'm too high up. So like, if I'm fighting Pikachu or like Pichu or something, like I'll miss them because they're short. And then even a few medium-sized characters like Link, I'll go right over their head if I'm doing a neutral air.
So what I have found is doing that combo, like the two buttons together, that has a better chance of hitting the shorter characters because the move comes out much quicker.
So you would recommend that over doing a short hop, waiting a second, then having the attack come out?
For me, yes. I know that there are people out there that are faster on the sticks than I am that don't need to do that, right? But because I experienced that in 4, I would see people throw their back air so fast, and I'm like, I can't do this. I'm getting there now. With Ultimate, I'm actually I've been because of how much we've been playing, how much we've been practicing, it's slowly coming along, but it's like it's not it's still not quite there. So using that short hop is that combo can really help, you know. And like, for instance, like with me and Mario, like his short hop down air, that thing, that tornado, every hit will land if I do that combo versus just hitting that tornado. Like if I'm dropping down on an opponent or jumping up after them or whatever, a lot of times that thing will miss the last hit. And so if they react with a neutral air or something, I'm going to take damage. But if I do it running towards them and hit the basically just hit, for me, trigger and down on the C stick, that if the first one hits, it will usually hit all, all the way to the end, which is helpful because it will send them away from me and reset neutral. Otherwise I can take damage. So, something to consider. But yeah, if you feel like you're not getting there fast enough, definitely use that. I use it all the time.
Leo,
as soon as I found it, I thought it was godsend. Like I use it all the time now. I was just wondering if the other one was any better.
From my understanding too, both actually have a damage decrease. You know, we've talked about it a little bit on the show, and then I had somebody actually reach out and say that the decrease is the same whether you do the short hop with the combo or you just do a short hop hit the attack and the direction, right? But so it doesn't. It's it's the same in both, from my understanding. But I feel like I need to do a little more research on that to make sure that statement is accurate. But I believe you can find that info out there.
So, Leo, do you use the shortcut, or do you manually short hop after your bomb follow up?
I actually manually input that. It became muscle memory for me because, it's Toon Link's bread and butter. I can also say that my brother started playing Roy. He usually would play Little Mac and Smash 4 because, Roy really was kind of a bottom tier.
Yeah, he was pretty lackluster unless you're top tier.
Yeah. So my brother picked him up in Ultimate, kind of like you, because he played him in Melee. And he actually, if I'm correct, uses that shortcut. He'll input jump and attack in the same. And also, I believe he told me today that Crom and Roy are very similar because Crom is the echo of Roy. And you might be able to kind of get some, I guess, combo information, I guess, if you want to put it that way, from watching Crom videos too. I know there's that thing going around that's people are calling the Crombo. And he and I kind of nicknamed Roy's version the Rombo combo because, Roy. But he did that today. I watched him do it today. So it's possible, and I believe he used the shortcut. So I don't believe there's a damage increase unless it just becomes stale.
All right, that's definitely useful. Probably pros and cons to both, but definitely if the shortcut's easier for me right now, I'm just going to do that.
Yeah, and keep practicing. I've been using the shortcut in the meantime. Like, when I'm in the lab, I'm practicing as often as I can, just getting that short hop down. And it's been huge for my gameplay, honestly, because I think it was Prosperous Cell was calling it the Josh jump, right? Where I would start every match the same way. And so staying on the ground more and short hopping versus that full hop all the time. Like, I mean, even Crawler, just our games over the weekend, like there was drastic improvement for me not being up in the air. Cause when you're up in the air, it's fairly predictable where you're going to land. Right. Versus like if you're running at somebody and I decide to backflip into them, I can throw out my back air. I can just hit the ground and grab them. Right. Like there's options, and it allows me to mix things up. Whereas if I'm just constantly full hopping, it's just a recipe for getting punished continually. So, and it's not that I'm that's, that statement's kind of obvious. The thing is, I'm not trying to full hop. Most of the time, I'm trying to short hop, but I'm not hitting my input correctly. And that's why I've really been practicing being able to do that. I literally spent I don't know, an hour trying to figure out the best way to back air with Mario. Like, what is the best button combination? Is it the combo with A and jump? Is it inputting differently? Because what I was doing is the inputs I was trying, I was misinputting. So I had to just literally lab it out and see what was going to be best. And now playing Mega Man, it's totally different. He seems to play differently. Inputting with him seems a little bit different. So like I could literally with Mega Man throw back air all the way across the stage using the combo of A and trigger. I would throw fairs doing that same input with Mario. It doesn't quite, and I think it's because of how fast Mario moves versus how fast Mega Man moves, and that's where the difference is. So I have to be more precise with Mario, and
buffer system too a little bit.
Yeah, you're gonna have that as well. So it's but it's like it's one of those things. It's like, wait a minute, I try this with Mario all the time, and I end up throwing a fair. I'm doing the same button input with Mega Man, and I'm throwing my back air. Which is what I want to be doing, right? Because there's so much more range on that thing. But it's like, I'm like, what is going on here? What is the, you want to be consistent with both characters, but really it could make me sloppy playing with Mega Man when I go back to Mario. So I got to be careful. So any other questions for us, Mulder?
Just one little offhanded one. Is Chrom the only Echo that has a different move being an Echo? Because his up B is like Ike's, but is there any other Echoes that have a different move like that? Or is Chrom the only one?
Well, Ken and Ryu have a little bit different moves. With the Shuriken and because I think the move is actually faster with Ken.
According to the Street Fighter lore or whatever, like I believe, like again, don't quote me on this. I'm just trying to go from memory, but I think Ryu was like the master of the Dragon Punch, and Ken was the master of the Fireball, or vice versa. I can't remember which one was which. So I think that kind of carried over into this game. One of them does. Yeah. I think Ryu may have been the Fireball because he has the red. He has the red Fireball, and then Ken maybe the Dragon Punch is different and more effective or something. I'm not quite sure. I haven't played with them, but I believe that's how it is in the Street Fighter games. They used to be identical, right? But then as the games have gotten older, or as the games progress, they mix things up. So, I mean, who are the Echo fighters off the top of my head? I mean, you got
Martha
Daisy.
Martha and Lucina are pretty much the same except for tip and whole sword damage output. Roy and Chrom have different recoveries. Peach and Daisy, I think, are pretty much identical.
Yeah, I don't think there's a difference there.
Ryu and Ken's faster, and their moves, slightly different, not that noticeable.
I think Dark Samus is a little more floaty than Samus is.
Yeah,
I always felt Dark Samus was faster, personally.
It feels that way a little bit, I think, just because of how she moves across the stage. And then what was the other one I was thinking of? What are we forgetting?
Without having the list right in front of me, I don't remember. So, but yeah. So I mean, it seems like who knows? Maybe some other future Echo fighters. Maybe we'll see more variants. I mean, we saw there's enough variants between Mario and Dr. Mario that they aren't even Echoes. They're the most different in this game, I think, than they ever have been. So
yeah, I mean, Simon and Richter are pretty much the same.
So yeah, there you go. Anything else for us, bud?
No, that's all I had for you guys.
All right, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me on again.
All right, so let's see here. We got a couple questions just in the Discord here. I just got to find the right server. I believe it's in the Smash Bros. Cast. Here we go. So let's see. This is from Colt45, and it says, "What do you guys think is the best way to practice your main? Quick plays, spirits, different play rules may force you to adapt. Classic, mob, or Century Smash, or just flat out play computers in either training or normal Smash." I think we're all going to probably attack this a little bit differently. Leo, where do you start when it comes to practicing your main?
Honestly, it's kind of changed since Ultimate first came out. I know I played with CPUs at first. Kind of took your guys' advice about the CPUs. Like level 9s have frame perfect data. So if you practice too much with them or against them, that is, you kind of pick up those bad habits. Like you're anticipating that someone's gonna roll here or whatever. But recently, I've actually just on the Discord been going into the Smash chat and being like, "Hey, anyone want to play?" And just shout out to my boys on the in the chat, Prosperous, PK, Anvil, just Azura, everyone in there wants to get better. Everyone in the Discord wants to get better. So I would say playing against a person is invaluable. It honestly has helped me so much. Humble brag from me. I got 13th out of 40 when I went to my local. And I don't think that would have been possible if I had just been doing one thing and playing one person. So playing a group of people is even better. Helps you to kind of find what you're doing wrong, helps you to practice what you're doing right, and kind of get more precision down.
Right on. Crawler, how about you?
I mean, for the most part, I like to. I've played around a little bit, like doing World of Light, just picking up a different character if I want to try to like learn just their moveset, so that I'm actually fighting something that's moving or doing classic, just so you're getting to experience those movesets without having just to lab it out, not against anything that's really fighting. Because like Leo said, the computer here, especially in Ultimate, is brutal on 9. Which is good and bad, I think. But I find the best way to practice a new character that you're trying to learn, or even just improving the character that you're working on, even if you do know their moves really well and how you're kind of progressing, is with another person. And like Leo said, I haven't done a lot with other people, but Josh and I do play. We at least play viewers sometimes, and then we play each other a lot. And I feel like we do fall into bad habits with each other where we learn our habits. And so maybe it's not the best data that we're gathering by playing our like regular sparring partner, but it is good to have that regular person that you can call on to work on stuff. But what I've found is online is good to kind of gauge your level possibly, but it also can teach very bad habits, because I've picked up some bad habits that can fly on quick play that just don't really work or are easily punished at my local. And so it's kind of good just to get a fair mix, but also find kind of what works, what's able to work, and what's probably not quite the there are ways to train that probably aren't the best. So kind of work through that a little bit. And I think the best thing is, like Leo said, is get a group that you can have people that are specialized in other characters that you might not know a lot about, that or characters that you're struggling against if you're playing online, and work out those weaknesses and try to pick the brain of someone that mains that character if they're having what they have problems with, where they struggle, so you can maybe try to iterate on that and use that information for maybe somebody else that plays that character struggles with that as well.
I know for me, what I've tried to make a point to do recently is my regimen has been this. I will watch the way I see another Mario play, and I will see things that they do that I don't do, or I will see things that they never do that I do. And then I know I need to make some changes here because I'm seeing them win and I'm seeing me lose. Right. The other thing that I've tried to make a point to do so that it doesn't get stale for just Crawler and I to play each other. Like when I see arenas that are open in the Discord, I will try to jump in for a couple games. Right. And so there's a few different things that are happening when I jump into those arenas. One, I'm getting to play against different people, different people's mains. Some matches I win, some I lose. The other thing I do when I'm, if I lost my match and I'm at the back of the line, I'm focusing on what I'm seeing other characters doing, right? Because one of the things that we learned, early on with like when we started playing Smash 4, it was like people say to play a lot of characters so that you can learn their styles, learn what they do, learn what their, what some of their bread and butter is, right? So that you can counter it. So I'm watching like, okay, you know, Leo, for instance, we played again today, and it's like, I know that there's going to be projectile spam and there's going to be fairs in my future, right? Like that's what's going to be happening. So I have to know how to counter that. I haven't had to play Toon Link to figure that out. I've played Leo enough, and I've played other Toon Links that I'm like, yeah, this is what I can expect. So there's going to be things that aren't going to work, and I need to you know, I need to stay in close, right? And that's going to be true. That's going to be true with Mario and pretty much every fighter with a sword and or projectiles is going to try to space me out. My goal is to get in close. The closer I am, the greater the chance I'm going to be able to do some damage. And so that's been very, very helpful for me, is just really trying to pay attention. And like, if I'm not playing, I'm focusing on what other people are doing, what is working. Why, you know, going back to that video I did with Dane, where he's like, why did you die right there? You know, like, I'm kind of asking that question, like, okay, what just happened right there? What mistakes were made? And, you know, the other thing that you can do, like, we've mentioned it before, like utilizing the replay system. Like, if you get beat bad, record that and see what happened. Like, look for stuff that you're like, why did you'll learn from your mistakes. You will see that, like, okay, why did I do that over and over again? Why do I keep doing, like, and what will happen the more you play it, like, this is happening to me during the game now. I'm like, I literally counted myself doing the same move 3 times. And I'm like, this is silly. I literally watched somebody just completely read me like a book. So you got to mix it up. Right. And then you'll just pick a lot. Like, there's so much that happens over time. And just playing this game, I remember hearing people say things like, oh, you're going to learn to read your opponent better. And I'm like, it's never happening. It's never happening. Now it's happening. Right. It's not that I'm like winning every match, but I'm like, I'm slowing down my pace and not jumping around like a wild person and then just getting punished for it. I'm looking for windows. I'm looking for opportunities. Right. And now that we're mixing up our stages with some of these Genesis stages, like, man, some of those stages, especially that Castle Siege, that thing throws me for a loop. Right. Like, I think for Maxis was like, what, why are you dancing all over the place? Like, what? And I'm like, man, I'm looking for a window. I'm looking for a window to like get a back air in or try to get my grab, you know? So that's basically what I'm doing for practice. And I mentioned it on the last episode, but I mean, there's the list of things to do. Bots are kind of the last thing. If you don't have internet, go into the lab and play with a bot that's not moving so that you can work on your moves, right? Work on your moves. And so
make sure you're moving around at different percentages, because the game changes from 0 to 30 and then 30 to 60 and then 90 plus. I mean, it all changes as you progress through there. So make sure you're varying how you practice.
Yeah. So what I would say is, like, we could break it down even further. I jump into training mode and I practice my moves. I practice my back airs. I practice short hopping. I practice dropping off the stage and throwing my cape. Right. I practice how far can I go off the stage and still make it back safely. There's things like that I'll practice. Then I'm going to practice combos. Things that, like, I'm not pulling off in game right now because I maybe I don't have the muscle memory for it. Those are the combos that I'm practicing. And as I've seen over the last few weeks, like, now all of a sudden I'm hitting more of my juggles and things like that. And it's because I've spent the time in the lab just getting the muscle memory for it. And so, you know, your time in the if you're forced to be in training because you can't get online or whatever, or you just need to get in there and get some moves done, practice your moves without even hitting the bot, just running back and forth, you know, your foxtrot where you're just tapping the stick in one direction and then back the other direction, that kind of thing. and throwing moves from Foxtrot, because your moves are going to come out a little differently from Foxtrot versus being in a full, you'll throw a dash attack if you're in a full sprint, but if you're Foxtrotting, depending on the input you hit, that's what's going to come out, right? So, I mean, you could be Foxtrotting and hit up on your C stick. If you have tilt stick on, you're going to throw an up tilt.
Yep.
Versus if you're dashing and you hit up on the C stick, you're going to dash attack.
And then you throw them further out in front of you, and
yeah. So you know, those are the kind of things, like those precise movements. And like I said, I'm still debating, like, do I have my controller set on high right now? Like, is that the best? Do I need to, if I crank it down a little bit, is it gonna, like that stuff that you could go in and test with your character. It literally could be a character to character difference. Like Mega Man, having it on high doesn't seem to affect the moves I'm doing, but I'm kind of curious if I moved it to low, if I would be more accurate with Mario versus what I am now, where, like, even though I feel like I'm inputting what I need to be, other things, other moves are coming out. And so, because I'm not being precise enough because of it being set on high, I don't know. There are things to test, right? And that's something else you can work on. But training for me is going to be moves and then combos, right? Like movement, combos, and then the next thing is going to be, finding sparring partners, finding people to play with that are better than you. And a huge aspect of all of this is mindset, right? If you're going to jump into this and you can't get mad that you're losing. You have to look for the benefits of losing, right? What are you have to look for what you're learning. And if you're learning, you're going to improve. But you have to remember, I mean, there's going to be people that are like, Leo, you're pretty dang good with Toon Link. Have you run into people in Discord that you're like, this is a whole nother level?
Oh yeah, for sure. There is no saltiness allowed in Smash. You you can be salty, but you can't get caught in the saltiness. Because if you do, that's you just start making mistakes that you wouldn't normally make. It's better to kind of see what you're doing wrong and make a correction. But I've played, in the past week, I've played at least 4 or 5 people in the Discord who are better than me.
And I mean, here's my thing. After I lose, one of the things that's keeping me from getting so upset is, like, I'm just kind of evaluating the match in my mind. And it's like, yeah, I could have done this differently. I should have done this. A lot of times, and we were talking about it in my stream earlier when I was doing viewer battles, is that, like, if I'm like looking at chat and not really focused on the game, I have this like tendency to just jump into my same habits. Right. And I would assume that's kind of true. Like when we were talking about in chat, people were saying like, yeah, that's the same thing I do. Like, you get to where it's just like, you're not all there. You're just kind of like mailing it in basically. And, the results from that are not going to be good. And that some of that comes from like Crawler was saying, like jumping into quick play. And it's like, I just beat somebody mailing it in. Why isn't this the norm? But it's not going to be. It's not going to be. So like if I lose, I'm like, okay, wait, I need to reset for this next match. Like, what can I do differently? That's what it is. It's always just evaluating and trying to improve. And so, looks like my Switch just randomly shut off while we're trying to record. Oh no! Right in the middle.
I killed the arena.
Yeah, it did. Sorry, guys.
How, if you're hosting an arena, does it kill it? That's so bizarre.
I think it was just too long for the.
You gotta wake it up, I guess.
I should have inputted something on the controller, but wow. Anyway, like you're gonna find what works best for you, right? The longer you play, the longer you play the game, and finding people that are better is going to be the biggest thing that will help you improve. And don't, you can't get upset. Like, if you don't understand, ask questions. Ask, throw it up in the Discord. If you need to, if you hit somebody up and be like, hey, can we play some matches? And, find out, jump into voice chat. Hey, can I don't understand this. I don't, why, play the match and be like, how come I lost here? Right. I had that happen over this last week, over the weekend. And I immediately jumped in a call and was like, here's what you're not doing. And then it found out, well, they didn't know that they could do this. They didn't know what that, there was just a lot of stuff that they still needed to learn. And then I get a message later on in the week, like, I've improved so much after learning this stuff. Right. So you can't be afraid to ask questions, and hopefully people, if you're on the side that's receiving those questions, be cool about it. We're all coming from different stages. I remember getting into Smash 4 and was like, this is so overwhelming. What have I got myself into? I thought I was good because I could roll. What's going? What? You know what I mean? So, anyway, we're about at the hour mark. So, Leo, where can people find you?
Catch me on the Discord at Leo Veritas. I'm also on Twitter and Instagram.
Crawler?
Hanging out in the Discord. Make sure you guys say hey to Hate Zero. And then stream sometimes, twitch.tv/NightCrawlr724, NightCrawlr's without the E. Same thing for Twitter, NightCrawlr724.
Right on. Guys, you're going to follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, all the places. It's N64Josh. And the show notes for this episode will be at n64josh.com/episode 44, I believe. Yes. I don't have it in front of me. So there you go. If you want to check out any of the links and things like that, do jump in the Discord, n64josh.com/Discord. It's a great place. So many good people to hang out with, to learn Smash with, and it's really friendly and welcoming. It's really been cool just being able to go into the Smash server and be like, oh, there's an arena. And we've had so many people jumping in. I just want to say welcome to everybody. It's been crazy how many people have been joining and just looking for games, And so I think it's all different time zones and things like that. So you pretty much can find a game at any time now. There's enough of us in there, which I think is just crazy. So come hang out. We'd love to have you. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you can rate and review on iTunes, we would greatly, greatly appreciate it. And looking forward to Saturday. We'll see you guys at the tournament. It's gonna be a good time. So with that, we will see you. We'll see you Friday for our next episode. Later.